I'm a soft skills trainer from Department of Career Planning and Development, and I'll be discussing on the topic conversation skills, right? So as we know, conversation is a very important part of our day-to-day life, be it professional, be it personal, be it any language, right? So if talking about English, there are various ways, how to improve your conversation, how to make your conversation more effective and efficient, right? So one way of that is, there is a concept of open-ended questions. Going further with it, right? Open-ended questions can be known as WH questions. They are also known as WH questions, right? So these are very common tactics. Many people come up with a query that we don't know how to start a conversation, or we don't know where to begin from, right? So then they come in that category of introverts, right? People who are confined, who don't talk much, right? So basically they have a problem as to how to start, right? How to start a conversation, right? What should be the point of discussion? So somewhere it helps us in the beginning of a conversation, how to begin a conversation, how to continue it further, right? WH question, as we all might have studied earlier, that is, it has 6 categories in it. So these are WH open-ended questions which definitely contribute a lot in the beginning of a conversation, to begin a conversation, right? That is who, what, when, where, why, and how. Generally, there's a question as of how comes in this category of WH questions, but this is a bit tricky. So if we see in this, we have these WH questions because we use these words to ask a question from someone, to start a conversation, or to continue a conversation which is already existing. So if you see here, WH comes in this way, W and H, right? How? So again, it has a WH concept with it, and it's a very important, again, a part of conversation which we will discuss, right? So this is how these become part of a conversation. For example, when we meet a new person, the first question, the first exchange of thoughts which come between the people is, well, what's your name and where are you from, right? So again, if I say, hi, my name is this, right? So the next question can be, where are you from? So again, this is one very important concept, how you start your conversation and how you continue with it. Where are you from, right? I think this is a very common question you will see when two new people meet, two strangers meet, right? Where are you from? And this is how, I think this is the best way to start a conversation. So people, those who think that we don't know what to say and how to start, this is the answer. So definitely say, we can, this can be one example. Where are you from? So the person say, maybe I'm from California, I'm from England. Oh, that's nice. So I have lived there, can be anything. I've lived there for 4 years. So which city did you live in, right? So this is how the conversation continues. Well, that's my best place. Someone says, oh, I'm from Singapore. Oh, that's my best place. That's the best place. I would really like to, visit the country someday. And one more example can be like, what did you do yesterday, right? This is again a very common question when we meet people. Hey, hi, it's been a long time we've met. So what did you do yesterday, or what you did in last week, right? What did you do this weekend, right? So what did you do yesterday? And again, these are very common questions asked in interviews. So again, this is how a conversation begins, right? So what did you do yesterday? The answer can be anything. I ate dinner. Then again, the conversation continues. It can be, who cooked dinner, right? Again, so this is how, when you don't know what to say, how to say, so again, just stick to this trick or this technique of conversation, right? Who cooked dinner? For example, taking the example of the sentence, again, so the person says maybe, my mom cooked, right? So again, the question can be, what did she cook? So again, do you see? This is how things continue, right? giving going further with other examples. So other examples can be, you ask a question, which is your favorite sport? A person say maybe football. So again, a question can be, when did you start playing it? Right? Means it's been how many years that you have been playing. So when did you start playing football? For example, a person likes a particular thing, maybe music or dance, anything. So you say, when did you start playing football? Right? So again, a person can say maybe from last 5 years, why do you like playing football? Right? So a person says maybe I like playing football, or you ask a person, what do you like playing? A person says, maybe changing the example, a person may say, well, I like traveling. Right? So again, the question can be, what do you like? I like traveling. So again, the question will be, why do you like traveling? Right? So this is again a question asked in interviews. If you say my hobby is this, so why is this your hobby? Again, so coming back to the category, why do you like traveling? Right? Why do you like traveling? So this is how conversation continues. Again, there is a very common question when a person asks, well, where are you from? A person says, maybe I'm from India. So it's been how long you have been living in this country. Again, this is a very important part of conversation. For example, I say, someone asks me, I say I'm from India. So again, the question can be, how long have you been living in this country? Right? How long have you been living in this country? How long have you been living in this country? Right? So this is a technique of how to start a conversation. So people also think that yes, we come in that category of introverts like me. So definitely this is the trick, and it really works. Personally, giving my own experience. So going further, let's discuss how to improve your conversation. Right? There are very basic techniques, very basic process which we all can follow in our day-to-day life to get our conversation more better, more effective, so that you're actually admired in a group of people. Right? So let's discuss how to improve your conversation. How to improve your conversation, right? The first thing, when we teach to students, they say is when they don't talk, when they don't participate much in class activities, they say, I'm shy. Most of the students say, ma'am, I'm shy, I really don't know how to be part of conversation. So when I ask them, what is the reason of your shyness? So as the students say that, I'm shy, they can be. So when I ask the students that why are you shy, they come up with really good, which the reasons which are definitely rational, right? So again, some of the reasons they say why students are shy. So generally students say, ma'am, we are not comfortable with the language, which is very much obvious, right? So when we are coming up with a new language, when we are coming up with a second language like English or be it any other, right, a language which is not our native language, definitely will not be comfortable. Most of the times, people are not comfortable with the language. So definitely there is a language barrier which leads to their shyness, right? So I can say a language barrier. Language barrier is a major reason, right? If I'm sitting in a group of 5 people, they may be efficient in French. I'm not that good in French, so definitely I'll be shy to speak, right? So here comes a language barrier. The other thing can be you don't like to talk, which can be situational, or it can be natural, right? So when people don't like to talk. So as I told you, it can be situational. For example, it generally happens, giving my own example, when I sit in a group of elder people, I definitely participate less because, I don't like to talk much among them because definitely they are experienced. So I somewhere I find myself a bit, confined to my thoughts. So definitely it can be situational depending on the situation. Maybe you're not in a good mood, you're not feeling well, right? So at that moment you may not be talking much, right? Or it can be natural. Some people, they have their nature itself being introvert, they don't talk much. We generally see people in our day-to-day life that we say, this person, he doesn't talk much, she doesn't talk much, right? So it can be a nature of a person, right? So now let's see how to overcome shyness. Most of the queries which people come up with is, we are really shy, but how to overcome it, right? There are some very basic techniques which we all can follow in our day-to-day lives to overcome our shyness. Right? The first thing is greetings, always. Right? Greetings is saying hi, saying hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever, depending upon the time frame, right? So when you greet the person, you actually open up the doors of conversation, right? So it's actually a gesture, and I think in most of our cultures, greetings is the first thing we do when we meet a person, maybe known, maybe unknown, right? So always give a greetings to open the platform of conversation, right? I think we all can do that in a conversation, right? So this is very important technique, that is, first start with greetings, right? Starting and even ending your conversation with a greeting, which is very important, right? The second thing can be, choose the topic you like. For example, you are in a group of people, right? So a concept or something which you are really good at, or you know more, you have more information, so you taking a step further, discuss that when you're sitting in a group of people, right? So I think choose a topic you like. For example, if I'm fond of Game of Thrones, so definitely I can jump into with the topic of Game of Thrones into a conversation, right? I watched that episode of Game of Thrones, and it had this is something which was really interesting, which was really funny. So the idea is to talk about something which you're really good at. So choosing a topic, choosing a concept which you're really fond of, right? It can be music, it can be dancing, it can be your favorite star, it can be a pop star, it can be a movie, right? You really watched that movie? That movie had these things and I really admired that. It can be anything, right? The other thing, how you can overcome your shyness and jump into a conversation is, I would say get a friend, right? I think this is something which really works when you get a companion. It can be your parents, it can be any of your buddies, right? It can be your siblings. Get a friend with whom you're comfortable, you're easy talking to, right? So it really helps. It really gives you a practice on your communication, getting conversation on your toes. So definitely this I recommend, and I do practice in my own life, right? Get a friend, which is very essential, right? Or the other thing can be traveling, shopping. Again, these are common. These are again a barrier. These are again a very common techniques to, to overcome the barrier of conversation, or to overcome the barrier of communication, gap which we follow, right? So traveling, again, when you travel, you meet new people, you explore new place, you explore new people, you explore new cultures. So maybe you're traveling in your own city, you're traveling across cities, that can be your choice, right? So traveling really helps. I've seen, if you'll see, there can be many people who are introverts, but when they travel, they actually get that experience and exposure which helps them further in the communication, right? Again, shopping, it's something really interesting way of overcoming your shyness. When you go for shopping, I think you deal with different kind of people. You go to different stores, you talk to the salesperson, you talk to the managers, right? So somewhere you get an open touch to practice your communication, to practice your conversation. You are getting it on the toes again, right? So shopping and traveling is something, I think which definitely bridges some gap which we get on in the terms of conversation, right? So again, I think these are very common tactics we all can follow in our day-to-day lives. I definitely do. So I think, and they are very successful. I can say that, right? Giving my own experience, out of my own experience. So this is how we can improve our conversation skills and get admired by people, getting an impression, right? And it really works with time. So we all should practice it time to time, and definitely we'll master it someday. So thank you for watching this video.